Are we live? Are we live? I think we're live. Let's go live. Dun. Good day, good afternoon, and good evening. Whatever the case may be in your corner of the realm, welcome. Greetings. We're glad you're here. Gonna let a few more people gather into the chat. The message has been sent out that I am live, so gonna let a few more people file in, and got a hell of a show for you. We're gonna go deep. We're gonna go balls deep into this, people. We got it going on today. Loads of good, lots of good things to look at. Hoping that the audio levels are good. Trying some new techniques and some new hardware, and constantly trying to improve, you know? That's all we really can do, is try to improve. here we are. Yeah. I'm absolutely buzzing, people. It's been an amazing 2 weeks. So much good stuff has gone on. I was a guest. I was invited on. 2 incredible individuals invited me onto their live stream. Martin Liedke and Jen over at Truth Seeker 69. Also Domestic Truther 69. We had a hell of a time. It was about 10 hours in total of live stream information, content, analysis, and all of it. It's been amazing. Here I am down here. All right. Glad you all could join. Hope the audio levels are good. Let me pause it here. The last couple weeks have been amazing. I was on Jen's show twice, 4 hours one time, another 2 more hours, and we got into the research into meltology and melted buildings damaged so bad that they are mistaken for geological features, which is the study of meltology. And Jen and I were having such amazing shows that Martin Liedke actually saw a couple of, or several hours of our work, and he invited us over, and Jen and I jumped at the chance to be on Martin's live stream, and it was an amazing experience. Shout out to you, brother Martin, over there across the pond in Wales land. Doing good research over there, brother. Keep it up. But I wanted to start off the show with a skateboard extraordinaire. His name is Richie Jackson, and this piece has been around for, I think he did it in 2015, but I thought you would like this to get the show really rolling. Here we go. Richie Jackson over at Death Skateboards. Unbelievable.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
How?
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
You know, Richie's skills, I mean, it's a very small percentage, maybe 1% of the 1% can even come close to some of these things that Richie does. Just an incredible amount of creativity and thought and skill. I remember seeing this back originally when it came out, 2015 or 16, and I was just like, who is this guy, man? I was impressed. You know, he's got that kind of hippie, kooky vibe in the music, and he, you know, I think it blew a lot of people away. I mean, it blew me away, that's for sure. the camera work and the skill and the interaction between the cameraman and the subject is amazing. They put so much thought and effort into this piece that I have no idea how long this would have taken them. Many outings and collaborations. When I saw this told me that street skating was at a, it was already at a level that I couldn't really comprehend what people were doing or how they were doing it, but this just really broadened my perspective of creativity and what you can do on a skateboard, and how much passion people have for things that they love and enjoy. They, when you have that drive or that vision of what you want to do, nothing will stop you. And Richie is a fine example of creativity at its finest. Next, I wanted to bring you over to Robert Maddox. He's on that's his YouTube channel name, and he is like a manufacturing extraordinaire. He creates all sorts of these weird steampunk inspired contraptions, and he is... I'm going to turn the volume down because this thing is just so loud. He creates these... He builds these engines, and watch how hot this pipe gets. And that look there that he's going for, that's the look I'm going for. What do you guys think? Would that look good? Would it look good on me? The long hair and the beard. I think that's my new goal. Is to that's my new direction for look. But I'd like to find out more about this Robert Maddox. He looks like he's having the time of his life, Listen to that thing. Engine cutoff. Pipe is glowing hot. He starts these contraptions with a leaf blower, and he's kind of, he's kind of private about how his engine works exactly, but he's not afraid to share his experiments and his contraptions with us. I think, just imagine a world full of individuals like this. I love it. I love this guy. I just recently came across Robert Maddox. That's the name of his YouTube channel. Steampunk Contraption Extraordinaire. I love this guy. I see the chat is already popping. Excellent. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We're going to go deep. This live stream goes in. We're going balls deep, people. So he, this is just a small portion of his videos on his channel. He has some crazy contraptions that he's built, and he takes them out for a spin, and he's got this really long selfie stick, and listen to this thing. Yeah, that's the look I'm going for. That's it. I've found my new look. Thank you, Bob. Robert has a little more hair at the front of his head, like the whole first half of my head has lost its hair, but the back half is kind of hanging in there, you know, business in the front, party in the back kind of mullet look I got going. But I'm not really quite ready to unveil the hair. I'm growing it out for a movie role. No, I'm just kidding. That's what I tell people, though. It sounds good. It kind of helps. From here, we move into some vintage Volkswagen commercials. Who knew about this thing? I mean, I've owned a number of Volkswagens back in the day. I had a 72 van, a 73 van, and a 60-something Bug, but I don't think I recall seeing this contraption from Volkswagen. Salted Cedar says they remember seeing this one. I mean, one of the knocks on Volkswagens was they were kind of underpowered in some cases. So I wonder, I mean, I'm guessing that this trailer doesn't weigh very much because Volkswagens were notoriously underpowered in some situations, but...
Your TV set broke down right now. Could your wife find something to talk about?
That's what mine
looked like. Is she the kind of wife
I had one that looked
bake
just like
her
that.
own bread? Does she worry about the arms race? Do the neighbors' kids wish they had her for a mother? Will your wife say yes to a camping trip after 50 straight weeks of cooking? Will she let your daughter keep a pet snake in the backyard? Can you show up very late for dinner without calling first? With two old friends? Will your wife let the kids eat frankfurters for breakfast? Would she name a cat Rover? Would she let you give up your job with a smile and mean it? Congratulations. You have the right kind of wife for the Volkswagen station wagon.
Sweet. Yeah, I had a 72 and a 73, and man, I wish I still had those things. They were pretty cool. It actually... the 72, shortly after high school, I just decided I was going to take off and hit the road for a few weeks and jumped in my 72 Volkswagen van and took off, you know, and I feel some of that still inside of me. And also, for those familiar with my channel and what I've been up to lately, you'll know that I've been coming across some vintage home movies from back in from my home state of Nebraska. I found, you know, each state and each country has digital archives that they store and make accessible to the public. They have digital archives and, you know, photographs and films and literature. And I love pouring through that stuff. And come across some really amazing things when you search through the digital archives. I've only begun my investigation and my research. But this came up, I've been doing this for about a year and a half now, creating short films. First they started out as slideshows, and I just sought to get better and better at creating short films, and I knew at some point that I'd have to learn how to deal with vintage film, right? And how it transfers from one medium to another. Like, for example, say I find a film on the internet, so then I have to transfer it to my computer. And from my computer, then I have to transfer it into the editing software and do the editing, and then convert it into a computer file, and then back up onto the internet it goes. And I'm learning the different ins and outs of how things transfer mediums, and how it affects the quality of the film. And I can see that in some cases the transfer didn't go so well. But I see how I can correct that with the different levels on the film. And you just kind of have to experiment with the process, and I just not be afraid of sharing with people, and as a way of learning how to create better films, and how to process images and footage that is more pleasing to the viewer. Some of the levels, when you find stuff, they're a little bit rough, the levels aren't quite right, and this looks different here than it does on my editing software. So that tells me that there was something in the transfer process, the transfer of mediums, that there's an adjustment there that can be made, so that what you see on your end is of the highest quality. That's my goal. That's what has really driven me to get better at filmmaking. I have a passion for researching and short films and live streams. The live streams are newer. I hope that I'm getting a little better at doing the live streams, incorporating a bunch of new cool topics that appeal to people, and then we tie it into old world research, and we theorize. There's a lot of different theories out there. There's the size and the shape and the placement of Earth. That's a theory. And then we get into cataclysms and catastrophes that have fallen upon our realm, because we really do live in a realm. This is a realm, from what I gather. The different floods and destroying of cities and buildings, and melted buildings and mud flood, and it's all really good gravy. I love it all. The great fires of every city. Most every city has a tale that their city burned down, and or it was bombed into total destruction. Cataclysms, catastrophes. If you live in a larger city or near a city, you could probably find a tale or something in the historical record that says that your city burned down, with what becomes increasingly hard to buy the stories that try to explain these fires that destroy cities and burn buildings made of brick, steel, and stone, and how quickly the cities allegedly are brought back up to world-class cities in a short period of time. It's all out there. I love the research. I love the different theories. I have a pretty good understanding of most theories, and I don't consider myself an expert in any one theory. I would say the one that I want to investigate a little further next is the ancient mining theory, that some of the things that we see in the landscape in the out in the countryside, what we call geological features, are either destroyed buildings, or some of it can be attributed to ancient mining techniques that took place, like at some point in our distant past. This place was visited by ancient miners, or ancient miners developed technology that was so good that they were able to dig canal systems and create canal systems underneath the cities all across the face of the earth. And if you take a look at large-scale mining equipment, massive contraptions the size of skyscrapers or large buildings, but imagine that, even that on a larger scale, that these ancient miners from either our distant past found a way to keep moving. They moved on. They maybe they're not so far away after all. But this film was the, this was the Nance Anderson family. And as I mentioned, I've been able to find really good things in the digital archives, and these, I'd say the majority of things that I share are in the public domain, and so there's no worry of copyright infringement. And even if there was a copyright infringement, the proceeds from any of my videos or films from ad revenue would go to the copyright holder. So if there is a copyright, I'm actually generating income for them, and they would receive that income. But I try to get stuff that's copyright free, and if I'm able to do that, and it makes it through the YouTube algorithm section, then I can generate revenue from this, which is helpful, especially if, like me, I would like to make some improvements in my equipment and my software and all sorts of stuff. This can get kind of expensive, so I'm doing the best with what I can. Let me see if I can make it an adjustment here, because I see my shirt's kind of getting blurry. No. What about there? Let's see that. All right, I have a knack of kind of nitpicking on some of the settings, but I think that just kind of comes with the territory. So the Nance Anderson family, they were avid travelers. They have films from Laguna Beach, California. This looks like it's inland from Laguna Beach. They traveled to South America in those previous films, to Chile and Argentina, and they get over to Europe. But wow, boy, they seems like travel was more accessible back in the day. Obviously, with events on the world stage, and the actors perpetrating these acts have kind of stifled travel and exploration for many, and I hope that we can reclaim our ability to freely travel and experience other places. And I think they did it with style and grace and elegance a century ago, and even earlier. They really knew how to travel. They knew how to enjoy and experience. I mean, individuals in my chat section and in the comments they're noticing, as well as I am, that people just had this sense of well-being and full of life and happiness in the recent past, and I feel like we've lost some of that, or it's not as strong as it once was. I don't think, maybe lost isn't the right word, but forgotten, or I don't know. I think together as a community we can reclaim some of our energies, some of our experiences, things that we used to do. I mean, I'd like to go on a road trip. I haven't hit the road in so long. I don't know if Jim Malone is in the chat, but he was getting ready to hit the road. Man, I want to get out and see some places. I don't know about you, but I think that's the next step in the process, is to get out and see these places for ourselves. I do the research what I can from here in the lab in my studio. Manny Silver says, totally agree. We can reclaim. Yes, Manny. Absolutely. We can reclaim. Set our intent going forward with our best foot forward, and reclaiming and experiencing things and places and individuals in a new light. I've got an amazing chat section. Give everybody a shout out. I see Boston Ray, Mud and Flood Adventures is here. Good to see you, Ray. Flat Accord Music is here. I'm good to see you again. Morgan is here from Isabella Live 2.0. And of course, Hippie Shake 29. Always in the chat. Always connecting people, always linking people. Hippie Shake is a valuable member of this community. I mean, what she has done for us has, I'm not sure that she gets enough credit for her efforts, but I want everybody to know that Hippie Shake 29 is, she takes what she does seriously. I mean, she does have a passion for it. She knows channels. She knows more channels than most of us. I mean, she is, if you see Hippie Shake in your chat, you're doing well. She keeps an eye on things, helps moderate the chat sections, and make sure everything's kosher and everybody's behaving themselves properly. Thank you, Hippie Shake. And Ray, he does that. He's also a moderator. Ann Pearson is here. Thank you for being here, Ann. Welcome. Like I mentioned, it's been an amazing couple of weeks. it's been just over a week since my last live show. Maybe it's closer to 2 weeks. I hope to do live streams weekly and started announcing them, and so people can have an idea when I'm going to go live. I was invited on to, for those that are haven't seen, I got invited on to Jen's live stream on her show Ripple Effect, and went so well. The first part was a 4-hour live stream, and we broke it down, and she invited me back for part 2. I think that was another 3 hours on the subject of melted buildings. And I shared some of this evidence because I thought, we could examine photographs and films from the historical record as a way of comparison with new and old. And we did that on her live show, and it went really, really well. I think I have those shows linked up in my community page on my YouTube channel. So if you went to my homepage on my YouTube channel and just clicked on the community tab section, you'll get a little drop down, and you'll see I linked up the shows that I've been on. And our friend Martin Liedke, over in Wales, he was in the chat section of Jen and I's show, and he really liked what he saw, and he, to the point that he invited us onto one of his posts, a 3-hour live stream in the middle of the week. It was last Wednesday, and that show went for 3 hours, and we each had an opportunity to present. Jen and I think, and Martin even brought his evidence, and it went pretty well. I thought the show went well. There's a few things that I could correct, and I think I will address those here in a little bit. Being, in the hopes of being 100% accurate. I don't know that I could be 100% accurate on everything, but if somebody notices that maybe there was the information I provided could be a little stronger, I'm open to hearing that. I got an email from one of my subscribers, Anton, and he wanted me to provide stronger evidence for the Yosemite Falls because he has been mountain climbing there, and he wanted me to share that there is more land above the falls. And I think that maybe when I said we are at the top of the mountain, it's kind of a general term for how high we are. Sure, it wasn't the absolute pinnacle of the top of the mountain. So yeah, if you want to say the top of the mountain is the absolute top, then I should say that we were at the upper 2/3 of the mountain, But Anton has been very helpful, and we had some really good emails back and forth, and there may be a correlation with some ancient mining operations upstream from falls. I found other situations where there are mining operations and ancient mining operations upstream of the falls, and I think when you see the craters that they've dug for the mining, and you see the water and you see the pumps, then you start to think, well, there is a irrigation system up here. When you see the water from the mine being channeled into the runoff, then yes, we have a water system up here. Now, if they have to remove the water from the craters with pumps, then we're talking about pressurized water systems. And maybe I could have been more accurate with my assessment of pressurized water systems. What I was referring to is that these systems could be further upstream, and that's what I'm finding in a few situations is mining operations. I had so many tabs open. I had tabs open for the world's, some of the tallest waterfalls in the world, and I hope to present some more information and some deeper details with Jen. Jen has asked me back onto her show with some new findings, and I can kind of clarify some of my theories there. But the goal is to be accurate as possible, and if I've made an error, I do apologize, and I will address and correct the error and move forward, because that's all we really can do is, I mean, we're theorizing, we're spitballing, you know, we can throw ideas out there. I think that's okay to do. That's what our community does. We learn more that way. I would never intentionally set out to misinform people. That's just not how I roll. So thank you, Anton, for clearing it up. And if anybody wanted to clear up or had any questions about the presentation, I'm available, and I would gladly listen and correct anything I need to. It's all about getting things right and moving forward with good intent, remaining positive, and interacting with people well and politely and courteously, and treating others, you know, like how you would want to be treated yourself. So the Nance family, they also traveled to the Grand Canyon. Let me make an adjustment here. There we go. Trying out a little bit of a new apparatus here. It's the kind of a spit guard, because I noticed in some of the live streams I was getting a bit of a popping. It's too much, and I think I made a little adjustment with a better spit guard. Hopefully I'm not too hot and it's not popping a lot. Thank you, Sage. Man, I really appreciate that. They say love your videos. Thank you. Rachel Hybrid is here, watching on big screen here. Oh wow. You know, Rachel, I'm really interested to hear your feedback, because part of the process is seeing how things transfer mediums, because, you know, from what I see here to what the viewer sees on their end are two different things. And if I can become more skilled at navigating the transfer of mediums, like from my editing software to YouTube, and from YouTube to, say, a mobile device or a large screen, there are certain things that I can kind of direct my broadcast towards. Right now I have things kind of general, so should look good on a mobile device, and it should look good on a TV screen. But yeah, it's about learning what it looks like from the viewer's perspective. And I think that's a big part of it, is for me to go back after I've uploaded something, and then I watch it as a viewer would watch it, and make improvements and make adjustments to the levels and the visuals and the audio. It's a learning endeavor, and I'm constantly trying to improve. I mean, I think that's all we really can do, is try to improve and set our intent, putting our best foot forward, and I mean, it's just really is all about love. I mean, love yourself, love the individuals in your life, and love this realm and our experiences here. I mean, it's it really is a good thing. I've been feeling really good lately. I mean, I love creating short films. It's something I do have a passion for. I just dive deep into the topics, and I'm part of the process is I've just been doing so many films is that I'm developing I'm kind of getting over my perfectionist, in the beginning I thought everything I had to do everything perfect, but now it's more about getting quality films and presentations to people, and just sharing as much as possible. I love it. Meeting really, really amazing people in our community, reaching out to people that I've followed for years, people that have been really influential to me. And those people, those individuals have actually reached out to me, which really blows my mind. It's like these people that have really opened my eyes to a lot of things, especially coming at a point when, I could have stopped. I could have stopped researching. I could have just said, "Oh, I'm good." I know more than I did about the size and the shape and the placement of this realm that we live in, and I could have stopped. Researching our realm, our Earth is something I really, really enjoy. But I realized that that's not the finish line. It's a big one. It's a big step. It's a big step. It's a big stage of our development, of our comprehension of this realm. And from there, we can go into many other things. They correlate with each other. They support each other nicely. And so these individuals woke my mind up to ancient architecture and cities that were destroyed and buildings that were destroyed by the different cataclysms and catastrophes, and which brought it even closer to home for me, because even where I live here in Milwaukee, this big part of downtown burned down in our recent past in the 1800s. So every city I shouldn't say every, select your words better, Bill. Many cities across the face of the earth tell the story that the city burned down at some point. And when we examine the photographic record and the films, the damage is identical to cities destroyed by what they call war and what they call fire and what they call natural disasters. But you start to get the sense that this damage is from a more unified source, or a more unified energy. Let's just put it that way. You look into the Great City Fires, and you look into mud flood, and you look into melted buildings, and you look into ancient miners, and you look into geopolymers, and oh man, all of those things are amazing. There's just so many hours in the day that I can research stuff. I don't know that I'll be an expert in any one of those, but I'll be able to at least have a speaking understanding of the theory and the people who have brought these theories forward, and I'd love to talk more with these individuals. That's really all we can do. That's one thing, a strong thing that we can do, is communicate with other and compare notes and learn from others. It's really cool. Let me pop over and give the chat a shout out. Rachel Hybrid, Hippie Shake I mentioned, Sage is here. Yeah, this is a good, 27 people. Wow, that's pretty high for me. 27 people are joining. I'd like to figure out how to stream. I know Ray is an expert, Ray in Boston, on streaming on multiple channels. That's one of the things I want to get better at, is streaming on different streaming software and having guests come on. I know I've been saying it for a while now, and but it's just things will happen as they happen, and it's coming closer. I can tell. It's just I'm learning how to present in this medium the best I can, and learning and then seeing if I can broaden my skill set to incorporate other streaming software like Restream or StreamYard, which are more guest friendly. And I'd love to have Ray on the show, and maybe Singed Man. I know we had talked about that stuff earlier. Those would be a few of the firsts that I'd want to have on. Those guys are doing great work. Ray has a live stream almost nightly, and if I don't know if people appreciate how difficult that is to do a late night talk show in this forum on YouTube. I mean, Ray really is there for us late at night, Eastern Standard Time, from his Boston location, which works out well because it's as Ray's into the show, it becomes the sun has arrived in Europe, and so we get the early risers from Europe. He has lots of guests from all over, and it's also the next day in Australia, so we get interesting people from Australia. We get amazing people like Michael Joshua Lewis and Ozbeast. Those guys are holding it down out there. Good on you guys. Keep it up. Yeah. So getting back to this film, vintage home movies from, if I could just stop it there. I tried, but vintage home movies from the Helen Nance Anderson family of Lincoln, Nebraska. Avid travelers in the 1930s and I believe 20s and into the 40s. They made their way around this realm no problem, in style and in comfort. And with film camera, movie cameras. I mean, the history of the film camera and the camera is up for debate. But in our timeline, they started becoming, film cameras became more and more available, but at this early period, not a lot of people had a film camera to take on their family vacation, and the Nance Anderson family did an amazing job at capturing their home movies and sharing them. And I've been noticing that the entries at some of the digital archive sites is, the family, the grandchildren of the Nance and Anderson family and others, they have family films, and not everybody has a film camera anymore, and so rather than risk their family archives getting ruined or lost, they donate them to the historical record, the historical society, as a way of preserving and as a way of sharing their family's experiences and honoring their grandparents and great-grandparents. And thankfully that they were happy to share these films with us. You know, otherwise they might be just collecting dust in a box somewhere, sometimes getting eroded by time, which is unfortunate. So if anybody has family records or photographs from their grandparents, treasure those, protect those. Make sure that those live on in good condition, and that way the next generations can have a connection to those that went before, you know. It's sad that sometimes those things are lost. People don't know their forefathers and foremothers like they used to, you know, and I think that's by design, you know, because if you're well rooted in your family and your family tree, the better you know who you are and where you are and where you come from, and that gives you a better insight onto where you can go, because you know, it's important to know who we are and where we are and who we've come from, and what we can do going forward with our energies and our thoughts and our friendships and our spouses and family members. It's really cool. Next portion of the live stream, and I'm calling this the Living in the Ice Age live stream, but I'll get into that. If you're familiar with my channel, you'll know that I've been uploading a lot of films lately, and you know, this one is from Lyon, France, circa 1890, and this has been colorized. The original film is in black and white, and they have gotten really good at colorizing things. It's a good look. I personally don't know how to colorize film that's black and white. I can make some adjustments, but I think maybe I'd like to learn how to colorize stuff. I think it probably has to do with the software and some investigation and some study and some thought and a lot of patience, I would guess. This is also from Lyon, France, around that same era. And in the colorization film footage, you get this purpley look. It's pretty cool. I don't know how to describe it well, but look how full of life and carefree these individuals are in the 1890s. I've also was kind of trying to do some different intros to my shows, learning different ways to share. Let me see if this is... oh, this one, it's funny how this played out, because right around the time that Jen and I were doing the live streams over on Ripple Effect on Domestic Truther 69 channel, Martin was seeing our research and he had invited us over. Martin, of course, lives in Wales, and it was right around this time that I came across a collection of colorized photographs from 1890, and they are superb. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. And so when we start getting these connections like Martin in Wales and photographs turning up from Wales in the same time, then I know that there are energies at work that are above and beyond what I can have a full comprehension of, but I'm aware that these are happening. So I knew I wanted to create a little short film, and I thought maybe we'd do a little musical break here and take a look at Welcome to Wales. I'll get myself out of the way. Slate Quarry, Bethesda. Interesting. Some of these places I don't know how to pronounce perfectly. I don't speak Welsh. I know Hippie Shake is over in Wales. Cater Idris. I'll try. So this film, short film, slideshow, however you'd like to refer to it, came to be, and it was a shout out to my friends in Wales and all the amazing individuals in Wales. You have a lovely countryside. Amazing architecture, and the individuals look like they are full of life. I really had no idea how beautiful the countryside is there. Sometimes it looks similar to the American West in some of the mountainous regions. If I had not known that these pictures were from Wales, I'm not sure I would have guessed it. I mean, this looks like it could be Colorado or, Wyoming or, something like that. But lovely, lovely place. I hope to travel there one day. Devil's Bridge. It was my hope that Dolbarbarn Castle, Yanbaris. I don't even know if I'm even close with those names, so I apologize. Dolgalo. I should probably stop trying to pronounce them because I'm just butchering them. Happy Valley, I can say that, but then the one after that, Landado. I'm sure Martin or Hippie Shakes could pronounce them with perfection. I'd love to hear them pronounce these. Actually, I should record their voices saying these places, and I could incorporate those into a film. You'd want an individual who lived there to hear their voice, right? I have no idea how to pronounce that lake, but it would be cool to incorporate a local Welsh speaker and incorporate their voice into one of my short films. I think that'd be cool. I just really love creating short films. It's what I've been into lately, and while I'm in the studio, I've got another computer screen on that I watch research. Hippie Shake says Wales is very green. Yeah, I see that. There's castle ruins. Those are very interesting to me. I mean, destroyed buildings is a big part of our research, and how they got destroyed, either melted or mud flood or war. You know, there's all sorts of tales out there, and we kind of have to piece it together ourselves as to what happened to these places. So yeah, I hope I represented Wales nicely and appropriately. It was meant to be a shout out and a recognition of how beautiful Wales is and was, and a shout out to scenic Wales. And I've also been experimenting with different visuals, you know, how to intro films, and I mean, I really don't have anybody to talk to about it. So I'm just throwing whatever I can come up with out there. I mean, I have a few people that'll give me some insight, and I go from there. Next is, I wanted to tell a story. It's kind of it's a good and bad story. I mean, it has to do with about 2 months ago. Let me see if that's too loud. A couple of months ago, I got really sick. Started out with kidney stones, and it turned into full-fledged, whacked, and bedridden for a couple of weeks. My wife Jill had it too. She got it first, and I don't know. I went to the hospital for the kidney stones, and I went in feeling all right, other than the kidney stones, but I came home and I got really ill for a couple of weeks. And all I could really do was lay in bed. I couldn't come into I wasn't able to come in here to the studio. I had no energy, and I couldn't eat, could barely drink anything. All I could really do is lay in bed and watch silent films. That's how I decided I was going to, or that's how it was shared with me that I was going to get through this. And I went through all of the greats. Buster Keaton, Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle, Chaplin, of course, Charlie Chaplin, the others. And I'd say my favorite is Buster Keaton. And, you know, he was Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle's understudy, and Fatty Arbuckle gave him his start into silent films. And Buster did the best with what he had and took it to levels that are still with us today. That his level of brilliance is remarkable. But I made it through the illness, and I came out the other side with a better understanding of silent films, how they framed and positioned the camera, and what their goals were, how to capture things without the use of voice. And their set building, they were really good at building sets, but they were also good at incorporating existing structures into the backdrop of the shot. And this is, I don't think that this was a prop or a stage set. I think this was somewhere, they traveled somewhere and they used an existing structure to film in the background, but then they do have some stage scenery. But I liked gathering the insight as to where they were. Like, some of this looks like a prop. Like some, this doesn't surprise me that they can build this, because they were master carpenters and masons, and they knew how to plaster well. And sometimes they even did a combination of actual scenery and a little bit of trick photography, and just manipulation of the camera and the film back then. They were masters. They did things really, really well. But so Buster Keaton went on to make incredible silent films, and they're shorter in nature, and I kind of like that. 30, 40 minutes, maybe an hour or something. The General, I know that's longer than an hour. Some of the things at the top of his production films are longer than an hour. But I like it because I feel like I went there. I feel like I was on a journey with these actors in this time. The 20s were an incredible period. Great things were happening, and I don't know. It's like you could set your path. You could just up and leave and find a new place to hang your hat. And I think people went out west and were filing into California, and from the east during the people were still filing into California. It was a lot of people. Just getting my nicotine fix here. So if you've never looked into short films and you're interested in it, my personal favorite is Buster Keaton. His story is amazing. Oh, I hear Roger, which reminds me. Should we have a Roger sighting or a Lucy sighting? We have kitty cam set up. The kitties like to jump up here in this area right here, and they like to get right in front and rub on the camera and the microphone, and maybe we'll get a Roger or Lucy sighting. It's summer here in Milwaukee finally, and it's warm out, and I have a cat door on the back door so they can kind of come in and out of the house during the day. They're well experienced, seasoned cats that know how to navigate the backyard and the front yard, and they are loved by the neighbors and the people that come by. I got a badge of honor for Roger and Lucy that tells the people who they are, and all the people on our block know who they are. Roger is the good ambassador to our neighborhood, and he is well loved. Lucy's a little bit more private. She stays in the backyard and suns herself on the warm bricks. But they like to come in from time to time and get a little bite to eat and some fresh water. So if they come up, we will do kitty cam. But this also gives you kind of an insight into my studio setup, my modest studio. I have two computers that are kind of aging, repurposed gaming computers. They're doing the best that they can with what they are capable of. I love them. I'm doing as much as I can with them, but I see a time, or I can see the potential for an upgrade in computer and editing software. Hopefully that'll happen at some point. And hopefully I'll also find some ways to help support the research and the short films. I hear Roger by the door. Let me open the door if you'll give me just one moment. We have a Roger sighting. What's up, buddy? You want to come up here? You want to come say hi to everybody? We got people from all over here, Rod. You want to come up? Yeah? You do? You want to jump up here? You want to jump up? Want to jump up? Of course he does. Well, the invitation has been sent to Roger. You can hear him shaking his collar around. Hopefully we'll see Roger here in a minute, but kitty cam is at the ready. Let's drop that out here for now. But this particular Buster Keaton film I like because of the scenery and the structures and the set making. He did have an incredible set creating cast and crew on his films. I mean, he developed in an industry that supported many talented people, musicians, filmmakers, set designers, creators, highly intelligent man. Never went to school, was homeschooled. He started out in Pickaway, Kansas, not far from where I came in to the world in Nebraska. Buster Keaton, he passed away right around the same time I was being born, in the late 60s. So there's a connection there. And Buster Keaton got his name, Buster, from Harry Houdini. Harry Houdini, the famous magician. And Buster Keaton's parents were on the traveling show with Harry Houdini. They would go from town to town with their show, and the Keatons were performers. And when Buster was old enough, they incorporated him into the performances at a young age. And after a show and they were all together, Harry Houdini saw Buster Keaton accidentally fall down a flight of stairs when he was 2 or 3, or I don't know, very young, bounced down the stairs and came to a plop down at the bottom, and stood up, shook it off, and he was fine. And Harry Houdini exclaimed, "Wow, that kid can take a buster of a fall." fall, and that's where he got his name, Buster, from falling down a flight of stairs. Buster Keaton was a master of mechanical comedy, falling down and throwing himself into harm's way and doing his own stunts. It was he did all of his own stunts and was very creative at him at this what he called mechanical comedy, or always keeping a stoned face. He noticed that people laughed more when he stayed serious, even in like nerve-wracking situations or threatening situations, to stay calm. And I appreciate that approach. I have been described as having a dry sense of humor and stone face. All of which are complimentary. I got something. Excuse me. Let me turn up the music for a second and let me get a drink here. Now, dang, it's still there. That always happens. Excuse me. Let's see if I can get rid of that a little further. Another thing that you'll see in the silent film era is the use of title cards, where since we weren't able to hear the actor's voice, they would put the words on a title card, and highly stylish and very nice looking graphics and fonts and artistic enhancements. So in silent films, you'll see a card that says the quote rather than actually hearing it come from the actor. But Buster Keaton, he was so good that he hoped to use as few of title cards as he could possibly use. He wanted his demeanor, his actions, his body language, his interaction with the other actors to speak for itself, to tell a tale with visuals and situations. And I think it's just brilliant. I think it's incredibly brilliant. We see how advanced the set designs and the clothing designs and the wardrobes, high level of artisans, of artisan work, of embroidery, of cloth making and clothing design and wardrobe decisions. Look at that font. I just love that font. So he does use these title cards when he absolutely must use a title card. Not in every case. I love the music too. Now, obviously, this is a fake lion. There's an actor inside there. But Buster Keaton and other actors of the silent film era, I noticed they do incorporate a lot of animals into their movies. And Buster learned how to put shoes on horses and interact with cows, and you see more interaction with the wildlife and the animals, and you see that in the home movies that I've shared as well. They weren't afraid to feed bears in Yellowstone Park, right up to the bear. Sure, these bears are fed by hand by the tourists all the time, but I mean, we're still talking about a bear. And people would walk up and feed it. Maybe people had a closer connection with the animal kingdom 100 years ago. I know there are people that still have that connection and are really good at handling exotic animals and wildlife, and I think it's really cool. Buster was he was a little on the short side. I don't know, 5'3" or 6" or something, but he liked to incorporate the what is the word? Like the antagonist, the person who plays the antagonist in his films, to be of tall stature. It adds a nice contradiction. What is the word? It'll come to me. Juxtaposition. I think that's the word. Like he's small stature, and his antagonists are of tall stature. And he uses that to his advantage. He's very mechanically skilled, and the use of props and animals. Do you know any actors today that can... I'm sure there's some actors that are better skilled at some things than other actors. A lot of it's CGI nowadays, and safety mats and body doubles, but so this is a rarity, and the skill level in this is a mastery. There's a brilliance there that Buster Keaton and the other actors of the silent film era had. And fortunately, their films live on, and I would highly recommend checking out some silent film era films. There's a lot to learn there, and I hope you don't have to get really sick like I do to find it. But I found it through being ill. I wanted something good come of it. Now, as many of you know, I've been trying to find ways to creatively and appropriately find ways to support my channel and further my research and continue the short films. And one way to do that is, hopefully this is showing for you, is my website. I've been busy, or I have been busy, creating billmillerflip.com, and this is my merchandise store. Now that it's up and running, I'm back into the filmmaking, and I can add more designs, but I have over 250, I believe, unique items. They're all vintage clothing designs. They're all old world inspired. And it's learning software. It's learning how to manipulate photographs and how to apply them onto different articles of clothing. It really kind of was a crash course or a study in how to transfer mediums. This is some Giovanni Battista inspired clothing. I like that one. I could just keep going. I got these backpacks, and if you ever have some time, if you want to get somebody a birthday gift or a Christmas gift, and they have an appreciation for old world clothing designs. Well, it looks like it's frozen up. Okay. So we'll get out of that. But check out billmillerflip.com in your free time. And if you're looking for some clothing designs. This was a intro into another short film of mine, and another way that you could help support my research and my short films is if you wanted to go over to my Patreon channel, you go to patreon.com/billmillerflip, and I have some exclusive content over there for my patrons. I have 3 patrons. I'm up to 3 now, and I'm currently generating about $15 a month from my patrons. Big shout out to my patrons who are supporting my research and short films, and I've got some exclusive content over there. If you wanted to become a member over on Patreon, you can do so for as little as $1. Cancel anytime. Just a way to help out further the research and short films. And as many of you know, I have a YouTube series that's called Name This City. And so what I do is I gather some photographs and film, and in this case it's photographs, and I put together a little presentation, and you try to figure out what city this is, and I was going to share that with you. So one thing that stuck out to me is that no matter where you find these cities, because I'm trying to go all over the place with the cities that I pick, and you get an eerie similarity with the railway systems. No matter how far apart these cities are from one another, their streetcars, their electric trams, their architecture, from all the way down to the tip of South America, up through Central America and North America, over to Russia, down through Southeast Asia and into Australia and Eastern Europe, Northern Europe, and even Africa. You get a similarity in infrastructure, and which seems kind of unlikely if you follow the mainstream narrative that anything would be similar with countries being so far apart and isolated from each other. How do we get so many similarities at a time when travel was said to have been limited and interactions between some countries was at a minimum, if at all? I've become more familiar and more comfortable with the idea that there was a previous civilization here that it's kind of been scrubbed from the record books. Exactly who they were and when they were here is up for debate. but hope to learn more about them. I mean, some people call it Tartaria, which I'm okay with. I don't have a problem with it. We know that there was a place called Tartaria in what we now know as Russia. But there are other theories on the table, and they're kind of all up for discussion and open for dialogue. I think that's a way to improve the conversation. This city, if we do see snow on the ground, and we see blades on the carts, the horse-drawn carts. I think we may have seen a reindeer. So we kind of start looking at clues around that we see, and we kind of start thinking Northern European with the snow and the clothes. And somebody always gets it when I upload a new episode of Name This City. And this particular city is in Northern Europe, and Scandinavia. I think I had confused the word Scandinavia with Norwegian, because Norwegian would be Norway. But Scandinavia is more of a kind of a blanket term for Sweden, Norway, and Finland. And this city is Helsinki, Finland. So even in Northern European in Scandinavia, we see similarities to the architecture in South Africa and Australia and South America. But they knew how to make statues and courtyards and really incredible structures for living and municipal buildings. But so this was kind of a tribute to Scandinavia and Finland and Helsinki. My wife and I have some friends in Tampere. I believe that's how it's pronounced. We've had some friends visit from Finland here, and my wife made sure to forward this to our friends there, and I'm hoping to hear some good feedback back from them. Helsinki, Finland. Somebody in the chat has been to Helsinki. PJCZ Uba, PC Zuba has been to Helsinki. Lots of snow, says Manny Silver. Yes, the Scandinavian countries get a lot of snow. And so, as I mentioned, billmillerflip.com is a way to help support the channel. If you want to buy a shirt or a backpack and look really stylish and help support the research and live streams and short films, check that out. There are some other ways to help support the channel, and one is becoming a member of the channel. There's a join button on my homepage. There's also links. There will be links in the description to if you would rather just make a monetary donation or contribution, you can make, I'll make sure the links are there to my PayPal account and my Venmo and Buy Me a Coffee. These are ways to make a one-time contribution or a monthly contribution, cancel at any time kind of contribution to Bill Miller Flip. I've got 150 films on my channel, all free to look at. Getting a lot of good response from my films. I hope to keep doing this. I have a passion for it. The research and the short films and reaching out to individuals in the community and joining them on their live streams, and I'm enjoying my path and this experience. The people that I'm meeting are top-notch, incredible people. Things are going good. As I mentioned, there's some hardware that I could upgrade. My computers are aging, repurposed gaming computers that I bought used, and I can tell they're maxed out in a couple of areas. One being I can't stream at. This is only 1080p. Some people can stream higher at 2K or 4K. But I do have to, and some people can stream at 60 frames per second, and I have to drop it down to 30. But I can make some other improvements so that we still get a good look. But some hardware improvements and upgrades maybe in the cards. But I'd have to. I do have a little fund put together and kind of collecting any kind of contributions and donations I get to furthering the filmmaking, and because this is really time consuming. But I love it, and if there was a way to do what I do and find some acceptable financial support towards making the films better and the research better and stronger, I'm okay with asking. I try not to bash people over the head with the request. I know Morgan he's become a member of my channel, and he's over there at Isabella Live 2.0. He does a lot of really good live streams. You should check him out. He's a good musician, and he speaks from the heart on topics that will help a lot of people. He's made the decision to become a monthly member. There's another option that I wanted to let you know about is, actually, maybe I should tell you a little about what we're watching. This is a presentation on Baltimore, ancient Baltimore, and the Great Fire of Baltimore. So I put together a little short film for this, and I'll let this play in the background, and I'm going to turn it up when we get to a certain spot. But
in the early 1600s.
Another option, if you wanted to make a donation right here in the live stream, if you went down in the chat section, if you went down there to where you start typing a comment in the chat section, or if you wanted to share an emoji, right next to the emoji icon is a $ icon. People have made contributions in the form of a super chat right in the middle of the live stream, and your donation will be highlighted at the top of the page, and we'll give you some good kudos for your thoughts and your support of the channel and the short films. So I think I've covered the support options. It's just a decision. I'm not trying to bash it over your head, but any contributions are welcome and go directly to furthering the research in short films. Thank you. Much appreciated.
A quarter century after John Smith's voyage, Lord Baltimore led 140 colonists on the Merchantman the Ark to settle in North America. The colonists were initially frightened by the Piscataway in southern Maryland because of their body paint and war regalia, incorrectly assuming they wished to attack the fledgling colonial settlement. However, the chief of the Piscataway tribe was quick to grant the colonists permission to settle within Piscataway territory, and cordial relations were established between them and the Piscataway. European settlement. The county of Baltimore was erected around 1659 in the records of the General Assembly of Maryland, one of the earliest divisions of the Maryland colony into counties, when a warrant was issued to be served by the Sheriff of Baltimore County. The area constituting the modern city of Baltimore and its metropolitan area was settled by David Jones in 1661, his claim covering in the area known today as Harbor East on the east bank of the Jones Falls River, which flows south into Baltimore's Inner Harbor. The following year, shipwright Charles Gorsuch settled Whetstone Point, the present location of Fort McHenry. In 1665,
So as
the
I
west side
mentioned,
of
this
the
is
Jones
a
Falls on the inner
previous
harbor was
short
settled
film
from
that I
500
uploaded,
acres of land.
and
The actor named Coles Harbor was
I
granted to Thomas
wanted to
Baltimore
re-upload it
Somerville
because I wanted to, you
1679.
know,
Old St.
I
Paul's Parish of
remastered
Baltimore
the
County was
original
one of the
copy of
original
it
30
and
parishes
made some
designated for the
adjustments.
colony.
I was
It
pretty
included
happy with
county of
the way how
Baltimore,
this
and the future
presentation
Baltimore
turned
town
out.
was part of the established or State Church of England, also known as the Anglican Church.
And
It was
after,
the
I
first
mean,
church built in the
the
metro
history,
area, erected in 1692 on the Patapsco Neck Peninsula. in
the
southeast
history of Baltimore is
along the
ancient. I
coast
mean,
of the Patapsco River.
you know, people have been living in Baltimore for thousands of years.
The track was renamed to
And,
Beach, which was then sold off
you know, we start to
to
ask,
parcels.
how old
That would become
are these buildings in Baltimore?
Another Baltimore existed
Are some of these buildings older than we're being told? I mean, were the First Nations people responsible for the construction of these cities? Now, I segue into the Great Fire of Baltimore because in 1904, Baltimore burned down because it is said, or it is reported, that somebody was smoking a cigarette and they flicked their butt down onto the ground and it fell through a broken piece of pavement glass. And so we know that the pavement glass lit up storage areas or areas that were possibly mud flood affected. And as a way of reclaiming that space, they just put a roof over it and called the second floor, started calling it the first floor kind of thing. But the story seems kind of suspicious that, you know, somebody dropped a cigarette down a grate and the entire downtown burned down. But the music selection of this next section is pretty strong, so I'm gonna dip out and I'm gonna max out the music here because it really is turned out really well. Here we go. Great Fire of Baltimore. One other thing I wanted to mention is these graphics here in the beginning of this sequence. The cigarette on the left dropping is done by Singe Man. And I met Singe Man through Ray's channel and Ray's live stream. Singe Man does a lot of good graphics. He did these graphics for me. We did a collaboration. So the graphics that you see in these next clips are by Singe Man. Check him out. If you need any digital graphics done, he's your man. Spelled SYNGE space man. Singe Man. Here we go. I just love that. Yeah, that was high energy. Who are these guys? You know, in the rubble, in the destruction, we start seeing people that look like controllers, like they are the handlers, that they are navigating and pulling off these stunts. Now, is it just a coincidence that all of these buildings in the downtown area were destroyed at the beginning of the upcoming architectural skyscraper boom that was coming to Baltimore? Because this land, these destroyed buildings were cleaned up. You know, they even repurposed the bricks and they built new buildings. There were construction companies ready to rock and roll, and in some of the photographs they're already building new walls while they're the construction has begun shortly after the fire, when you would think that they would need to clean everything up first. But is it a coincidence that the architectural companies and construction companies were well positioned? There we go. Here it is. See this wall here? They're already, I mean, total destruction all around, but they're already building new walls along the front there in the foreground. Interesting, right? Could be a coincidence. I mean, you do have to rebuild. Total devastation. I mean, they lost everything. And, you know, this is all because somebody dropped their cigarette butt and it fell down a crack and the city burned down in 1904. I think I had got it mistaken with 1907, but it was the Great Fire of Baltimore of 1904. But there are several cities that tell tales that their city burned down twice. San Francisco. So your city is completely destroyed. You rebuild, and that city burns down. How does that happen? I guess people were dropping cigarette butts all over the place, or a cow was kicking over a lamp in the barn, and Chicago burned down. I guess the point is that I started investigating great city fires in deeper detail, and what I'm finding is a correlation between city to city, and the damage is eerily similar. Baltimore rebuilt with millions of repurposed bricks. That's right. So the buildings were destroyed, but there were building materials that were still good. So you just, if you needed bricks for your new building, there's an entire block right next to us that has millions of repurposed bricks ready to use. The story of the Great City Fires is an interesting one. So we've been going for a while. I mean, looks like we're still hanging tough at about 21. That's still pretty high for me. Thank you all for being here. It's been a couple of weeks since I've done a live stream, and wanted to get back out there. And I'm trying out some new looks and some new sounds, and, you know, upping the presentation level for the viewer like you. I want it to be an enjoyable experience for you. It, you know, nobody wants to come and spend their valuable experience time in a lousy experience. I don't. So my goal, my hope, is to develop and create short films that are visually pleasing with good imagery and a nice selection of songs to enhance and put them together in a short film and add narration at some point, or let the film stand as is. Thank you, Hippie Shake. It's good to be back. Yeah. It wasn't a long break, but my thoughts and energies have been on Martin's live stream and Jen's live stream, and those were important to me, so I felt comfortable delaying my next live stream by a few days. Not a big deal. It was an incredible experience being on both of those shows. I think both shows were well received on those channels. I know Martin's video has over, don't quote me, but I think we're talking 10,000 views. I know it's thousands. Yeah, and I know Jen's was nearing 1,000. So people are seeing the evidence that we bring, and you know, our goal is to bring solid evidence, and if somebody has some evidence to the contrary and would like to help us improve our presentation, we are all ears, and I hope to get updated information as we go. There's so much information, it's hard to have a full mastery of all of it on any given topic at any given time. But I feel good about the overall presentation. I would give myself high marks. If I was going to give myself a grade, you know, I think we're talking B+. You know, things went well. I mean, there's a few areas I could improve in, and I think I've already made some improvements since then, and based on information that I've received via email and the research of others, they've all been very helpful in furthering and enhancing our research. You know, the people that reach out to me were wanted to make sure that we got the information accurate, and I think we're doing that here, and because that's our goal. I mean, together it's a group effort in some of these research topics. If I misspeak or I confuse some information with another topic or another site, and you catch that, please let me know. I want to get that squared away so everything's on the up and up, and everybody's researching the accurate information, as that is my goal, and that'll be my goal going forward, is being accurate and an individual who will share my research and will accept the research of others and look at other research. And if I see research of others or information from others that changes my worldview or changes my presentation, or it's because I feel strongly about it, and in the hopes of getting things accurate as possible for the viewer. So thank you to my viewers that wanted me to update some of the information, and I can go into that a little further, but overall, great experience. Look forward to doing it again soon. I think Jen and I had been, she said that she may be going live. I saw her last night with Steve JMO and Ceiling Fan Man and those guys, their crew over there. They have a lot of good fun, and you know, it's enjoyable to watch a group of people and having fun on a live stream, and it's good viewing, and the information is excellent, and you know, the intent is set high, and I think the viewer can see that and feel that. So good stuff over there with that group. Steve JMO, Jen, Ceiling Fan Man, Shepu and Jen have been crushing it lately with their melted building research, and shout out to the Eagle Eye crew over on Spartan Red's channel, and Spartan Red, Dean, Fervent Heat, James, all those guys. Those are good guys. There's some other people that were influential to me, but maybe there's a little rift in the community, but Jerry over at the When the Buildings Cry, he was influential early on. Some of his Rahu and K2 videos really grabbed my attention, and I knew that he was onto something. Wise Up, yeah, somebody also mentioned, why isn't Wise Up's name coming up more often? You know, and I said, hey, you know what? That's a good question. Why? You know, because I do remember watching a lot of Wise Up, but I haven't seen too much from him lately. I don't know. I remember he was talking about kind of going off grid for a while, or not having access, but not sure if he's been very influential in the destroyed buildings community. And you know, there's the topic of geopolymers. Paul Cook is crushing it with his research. Geopolymers is something worth investigating. You know, I think they all work together well. Let me kind of preface this one. This is another one that I remastered called Olden Days Architecture. And this was kind of my first venture into editing video. There's websites where cameramen donate their film footage, and it's for public consumption, and it's not copyright. And I poured through those sites and grabbed some different film clips, and I crunched them down and edited them to what I wanted to put together. And why is it flashing like that? That's weird. Let me pause it for a second. That's kind of a weird look. Huh. I'm not sure why it's blinking like that. Let me, I I have an idea. Let's see. Oh, yeah, okay. While that's doing its thing, I was going to, and this was kind of inspired from something that, I had seen Martin do in the past. Where was that? Oh, yeah. Okay, so I remember something that Martin used to do. He would put song lyrics up, and we would examine them and see how they correlate to today's world. And this particular song is a band that I've been familiar with since the early 80s, and they're called Joy Division. And they have a song called Ice Age. And it's very telling. I think I will play the song here in a second. Verse 1, I've seen the real atrocities buried in the sand, stockpiled safety for a few, while we stand holding hands. I'm living in the Ice Age. I'm living in the Ice Age. Nothing will hold, nothing will fit. Into the cold, it's not an eclipse. Living in the Ice Age. Living in the Ice Age. Living in the Ice Age. Searching for another way, hide behind the door. We'll live in holes and disused shafts, hopes for little more. I'm living in the Ice Age. I'm living in the Ice Age. Nothing will hold, nothing will fit. Into the cold, no smile on your lips. And I think gives us an insight into, a couple of our different areas of research. When Martin did that initially, it was, he was comparing it to, how they tell us in songs about past catastrophes and past cataclysms. And my thing is still blinking pretty badly, so I'm not sure. Let me try to do something here. It might be kind of experimental, a little bit. But I wanted to, in hopes of learning how the capabilities of different softwares. I wanted to see, I was going to play that Joy Division song, but I don't know if it's going to play through because my thing is blinking. What if we tried to do it like this? Now, this may be total garbage because I'm playing it from speakers, but let's see how this goes. Buried in the sand, lost for a few, lost my holding hand. I'm living in the Ice Age. Yeah, that sounds really bad. Nothing will fit. I don't know if that's, I don't know if that's the way to go there, so I tried. Those lyrics were very telling. I try it. Let's see if this is going to cooperate. Huh. Yeah, there's some sort of unexpected blinking going on here in the live stream, but I'm not too deterred. I will keep going forward. It's been a great show. I think we're closing in on about 2 hours, and where does it say? Yeah, 2 hours. That was kind of my target area. I've got another live stream planned already. I don't know why it's blinking like that, so I apologize. I wonder, let me pause that because that's just, I don't want to give anybody a seizure from, including myself, from watching the screen flicker like that. But I want to thank everybody for coming out. I see some new names in the chat. We're still hanging tough at about 20 people in the chat. It's been a great live show. Crazy Mom 123, first live watching Bill. Loved you with Martin and Jen. Thank you, Crazy Mom. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Yeah, that was a really good show. Okay, the blinking. Let's see if it. Okay, it must have been just that particular section. Yeah. It probably happened during the upload process, and there was something happened during the transfer. Because this seems all right. What I'm playing here at the end of the live stream, this was the credits to the Richie Jackson section, and I wanted to make sure that he got some credits there. I'm going to call this a successful live stream. It's kind of hanging in there. It's holding it together. Things kind of making things up here on the fly. But I think that's part of it, being able to, roll with the punches. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to. Okay. This didn't make it into. Well, it is. It's making its way into the live stream, and this has a this is something near and dear to my heart. I once owned a Volkswagen van very similar to this one. Mine was completely orange. I mean, the mustard colory. This one is white at the top, and this one is like in excellent condition. Mine was in pretty good condition, but I lived the van life for a while, you know. Is the audio coming through?
This has been a project of ours for the last 2 years, and we've completely built our van from the ground up. You're going to see
So
today
this
some of the custom
this young
modifications
couple
we
has
made to make our van our home. So
devoted a
welcome
lot
to
of their time and efforts to upgrade or maintain their Volkswagen van. Mine was very similar to that one. Not sure what that was. But oh man, I loved my
The first thing I'll
van.
show you is the secret drawer.
This
which
is a
slides out and becomes our kitchen.
European style one with the
We had so many
driver's
ideas
side
in mind
on
when designing the van, but we
right.
decided to go with this layout. We're outdoors most of the time anyway, and we're always chasing summer weather, so we haven't had any issues having our kitchen outside. I personally love this spot, especially in the mornings when making coffee in the fresh air. We love having the pull-out
Oh,
bench
hippie
top
shake.
because
Your
it
dad
really
had
opens
one.
up the van and allows space
Nice.
to entertain guests. So the sliding bench here runs on a 1 meter heavy-duty cabinet runner, and we have a magnet on each side of it to hold it in place while we're traveling. We left this bit here open intentionally so that we have easy access to things like our coffee maker and our mugs. We made these little macrame holders for all of our...
I can remember getting kind of crafty with mine, not to this level of expertise, but I did make some modifications to the interior of mine and even the exterior. I put a rack on the top, the spare tire carrier on the nose of it, and man, we took that thing all over the place, and beautiful thing. I'm glad that the people still treasure the old Volkswagen vans and maintain them and travel and live and utilize in them. It's really cool.
Seats, where we can just kick back and enjoy the van and enjoy the outdoors. We made these cupboards here with a good friend of mine. We made them out of MDF, which is a medium density fiberboard. They handle the water really well, so if we've got any like towels and things that are wet, it doesn't matter too much. They're also lightweight and really heavy duty, so it's been perfect for the van build.
Yes, Ann Pearson has it right. She says, I would love to get on the road and adventure the old world. Yeah, man, that would be just imagine in a community of people like travelers. You know, I know there's a lot of meetups coming up this summer, and man, that would be cool. I guess I'd have to get a vehicle first, or hitch a ride, or pay for some transportation, but I'd love to get out there. Yeah, I'd love to go to some really amazing places and meet some people in the community, some people that I've met here, meet you in person. That would be cool. So I'm going to say the show is winding down. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, taking the time out of your day and spend it here with us, and look to I've got there are more short films in various forms or states of creation, different levels, and there are some more live streams coming up, so I wanted to dust off the cobwebs of my live streaming that had the cobwebs that had accumulated over 10 days. It's good to kind of keep this skill or this ability to live stream kind of in the front, or able to recall it, keeping these energies and thoughts close, or don't let them get too far away that I start forgetting. So just kind of having presentations, weekly or every week and a half or something, just helps it assists me in finding creative things to share and creative ways to share them, and it gives me time to interact with commentors in the chat and the comment section, and emails and collaborations and ideas for upcoming live streams and projects and films. It all keeps it fresh. So that's the idea here. And the stream isn't starting over. I just wanted to go out with something. What I'm gonna do is play. I'm gonna play Richie Jackson's section one more time, and I'm gonna fade out at the end. Richie Jackson, skateboard extraordinaire.